one.
Hi, everyone. This is real estate coach Craig Proctor, and welcome to the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. Today, my special guest is Shane Meahan from the greater Calgary market, fellow Canadian. Shane is a coach with the Craig Proctor organization. He's been with us for many years. Thank you so much for being with us today, Shane.
Hey, of course.
Hey, you're doing an awesome job out there. I want to talk about how you got started with Craig Proctor and what's happened to your business during that time frame.
Well, like a lot of people, I started at one of James's half day sessions. It was minus 43 degrees the day that I went to James's half day session.
See, that's a great qualifier that you would come out when it's minus 43 degrees. For those of you who know Calgary, that's not exactly unusual in Calgary. Okay, so you came to a free half day. What did you find? What was intriguing about the message that you heard?
The half day session is it's an incredible one because you walk away with a couple of ads you can run. James gives you some ideas and I went home, I jumped on Facebook, I ran the ad James suggested, and I think I actually had a lead from my Facebook before I even got home. It was about a 25-minute drive. My first lead came in 25 minutes, and I thought, this makes sense. I'm willing to jump on an airplane and go to Anaheim in I believe it was February. So that's
what year was that, Shane?
2018.
Okay. So you came to one of our introductory half days, you liked the message, started running the ads that we shared with you, decided to come to Anaheim, our Anaheim conference a few years ago. And what's happened since that time?
Well, I jumped into the Craig Proctor system really early. And my first year was, what we would consider a success. I think I made about $90,000 my first year in real estate.
That's good.
15 transactions. I, was one of the top agents in my brokerage. And that was great, but I was giving up my life. The phone would ring at dinner time and I would run and answer the phone. It felt like I constantly was putting the family aside while I was working.
Right. That's because you were.
Well, and it was.
Yeah.
You didn't have a choice, right?
No, I totally get it. I've been there before. Okay, so your goal was, I got to figure this out. I mean, I'm making $90,000 a year my first year, but at the expense of my personal life, and we don't want to trade our lives for what we do. So what happened next?
Then I came to another conference. It was probably my second or third conference, and I really started to jump into the people in the Craig Proctor network. Agents from Washington D.C., Southern California, and started talking to them about how the business of real estate worked, and then I just went all in, as guys talk about all the time, and we really went all in. We started building a team. I was lucky enough, my wife was able to quit her full-time job to join the team, and she helps me out now as my office manager, which really makes her my boss, let's be honest. She and I last year in 2020, we had our best year ever. We made about 600,000 in 2020.
Well, that's quite a leap. So first year, 90,000, last year, 600,000. So you really have this epiphany that you need to have both the money and the freedom and do this the way you want to do it. You had to grow your team.
Well, yeah. And the best part about it, Craig, was we went from 90 to 100,000, and I coach my son's hockey team. I, drive my kids to and from school every day. I was able to attend my daughter's cheerleading event in Vegas. I was able to take her down there. We went on a daddy-daughter weekend, and you didn't have to worry about real estate because it didn't stop. Everything kept going behind the scenes, no matter where I was.
I think that's an important message for those of you watching this that are solo agents, and you're struggling to live a balanced life. The truth is, Shane, you've got more personal time now when you're making $600,000 a year than back working as a solo agent making $90,000 a year.
Yeah, for sure.
And, that's a common, paradigm that we have when we get into real estate is we don't think of it as a business. We think of it as a job. And in the beginning, that kind of works, right? Because you're able to trade more of your time for money, more of your time for money. But at some point, like you mentioned, you start giving up your evenings and weekends and your relationships, and you're not able to do the things you want to do. So, it's not sustainable is the problem. And so I think what happened when you came to the conference is you started to meet realtors that were living this life. They basically had their cake and eat it too. They were making a lot of money and they had great personal lives. And you realized, they all had teams. And I think the most important realization was, as you got to know them better and became friendly with them, is if they can do it, I can do it. So I think that gave you a lot of confidence to go back and, like you said, go all in.
Well, and Craig, one of the best parts that people forget about is, it's not just the people, it's the network. I could pick up the phone right now and phone any one of the people I've met at these conferences, and they would drop what they're doing to help me if I had an issue with something. So you're not fighting a problem by yourself every time.
Yeah, we do mention that to everyone that inquires about the Craig Proctor system a lot. The cultural part of the Craig Proctor network is huge. People are Craig Proctor members, not just for Craig Proctor, more so for all of the people they meet that are, along doing that journey, right? They're either, where you are right now, or they're years ahead of you. And, to be able to talk to people that are actually doing this and having them be able to share with you, like you said, be able to pick up the phone and call them at any time is massively huge. So I think that, like, of all the things you've mentioned here, I think that probably had the biggest impact is you just creating these relationships with people that are doing the thing that you want to do, and being able to ask them questions and break it down, because it's not all smooth sailing when you move from a solo agent doing $90,000 a year to building a team doing 600,000. And I don't even have to ask you. I know you're not satisfied with 600. I know now that you're doing 600, it's going to be like, I want to do 1 million. I want to do 2 million. And here's the thing, how to do it now, right? There's no limitation. No longer do you have to think about, well, gee, if I go from 600,000 to 1 million, I can't coach my kids' hockey team. That's not even a consideration, because you have figured out how to scale this without more of you. Yeah. And systems. The systems, people, technology. That's what the Craig Proctor system is all about. I mean, we give realtors lead generation systems, follow-up systems, presentation systems, system to recruit, hire, train, manage, all these business systems. And then not only do we say, hey, Shane, here's how to do it. We say, we'd like to introduce you, Shane, to 1,000 other people that are doing the thing that you want to do. And that's what you did a really good job of. You're a likable guy. You became good friends with people. And, and not only have they helped you, let's not forget to mention the fact that you share all your success with other Craig Proctor members as well. For those of you that may not know, Shane is a Craig Proctor coach, so he doesn't need to do that. He gives back to the Craig Proctor community, just like other Craig Proctor members gave back to him when he started. So we appreciate that, Shane. So while we're talking about the future, what is your goal for this year? What's the next 12 months look like?
We want to hit $1 million. Not just we want to, we're going to. We're going to do $1 million this year. We're going to help 120 families realize their dream of making a move. And more importantly, we want to do that by changing the life of not only our clients, but the agents that are on our team as well. We want agents on our team to have the best real estate year they've ever had.
I mean, that is really cool. Like it really is a win-win-win. I mean, you've built a better life for you and your family, but you're also helping tremendously. All your team members are also having a better life. And you're giving a better experience to buyers and sellers in Calgary. So the clients win, all your team members win, and you and your family win as you deserve to. Now, what are the challenges? Because I could push back and say, okay, well, why aren't you already doing $1 million? What's been holding you back? Is this, you've had this massive growth, right? So you've gone from $90,000 as a solo agent to $600,000 with your team. You want to go to $1 million. Why are you not already doing that?
To be brutally honest, we don't have enough people. We had 7 appointments booked on Sunday alone. And, with 3 licensed agents on my team, each one of us was out on 2 meetings. One of our agents was on 3. And it's just trying to get all of those meetings and appointments booked with clients, also getting them into houses, and, getting the people together to have everybody pulling in the same direction. We really do to achieve our goals. We need at least 2 more people on our team.
Okay. So just to be clear, the bottleneck in your business, you've got an overflow of ready to act buyers and sellers. It's just your bottleneck right now is you just don't have enough manpower on your team to work with this huge inflow of buyers and sellers.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so I'm going to help everybody in Calgary with a suggestion right now. If you're a realtor in the greater Calgary area and you know Shane, or if you don't, you should definitely reach out to Shane, and you should inquire about teaming up, partnering up. It is a partnership with Shane. Here's how this deal would work. It's really cool. And you might be thinking, well, I don't want to give up my independence. Well, think about this. The reason you got into real estate is because you want to make more money and have more time and have a better life and do the things you want to do, right? That's why we get into real estate. But most agents, they have the opposite experience, right? They give up their entire life. They're not making the money they want. They're doing a whole bunch of things they don't like to do, like, cold calling, sitting in open houses, wasting a ton of money on ineffective advertising. Shane has the marketing figured out. Literally, realtors, if you partnered up with Shane, he would send you out on listing appointments and he would coach you up on the listing presentation so you win. I'm not saying he wins them all, but he's got a really good listing presentation. I know that because I gave him mine, okay? And he's going to give you his, which is mine. But you would have a mentor in Shane that would be totally focused on you succeeding, because when you succeed, he succeeds. In other words, the more money you make as a team member on Shane's team, the more he makes. So that's not usually the way it works in most brokerages, right? The broker's like, hey, pay your desk fee and you can stay here. So when you work as part of, and this is, whether you're in Calgary or not, this is kind of the model that you should have if you want to have an awesome team. Shane takes care of the marketing. He pays for all the marketing. The leads go to an inside sales department. Okay. We don't give the leads to the outside sales agents. And here's why. We find if we give the leads to the outside sales agents, if you gave them 10 leads, would call two or 3 of them and boom, run out the door and show houses or go out in a listing appointment. And the other 7 or 8 leads wouldn't get called. So we don't do that. We have a inside sales department. The leads are given to the ISAs. The leads are qualified to make sure that the appointments we're booking for the outside sales agents are real appointments. These are buyers and sellers that want to buy or sell. As an outside sales agent, imagine this is what your life would look like. If you worked with Shane, you literally would be checking your day timer and going from buyer appointment to listing appointment. That's it. Once you get the paperwork signed up, you send that into the office. If it's a listing, for example, they do it all. They would order up the for sale sign. They would broker load it into MLS. They would get the keys cut, get the key box installed, take the pictures, make the feature sheets, get the feature sheets delivered. They would call the seller every single week, let them know how many showings they had on the property, what we're doing to market and advertise the property. And when an offer comes in, then you, the outside sales agent, is back involved. So I don't know what you're making per hour. Maybe you put a couple hours into it, but if the commission to the outside sales agent would say $10,000, and you're spending an hour listing the home and an hour presenting the offer, okay, you've got 2 offers in, and the outside sales agent's getting paid $10K. Folks, do the math. You could make $5,000 an hour working on Shane's team. Now, it's not for everybody. If Shane meets with you and he's like, okay, I don't know if this is going to work, he wouldn't waste your time, because he doesn't want to waste his time. He wouldn't put all this energy and time. He actually invests a ton of time to make sure you're successful. Now, if you're outside of the Calgary market and you want to do what Shane is doing, going from in his first year, $90,000, which is nothing to sneeze at, nothing wrong with $90,000 in your first year. How many of you would agree? Let me know in the comments. $90,000. Let me know in the comments below. $90,000 in your first year, very respectable. Heck, a lot of realtors are in this for 10 or 15 years and they can't bust through 90,000. But now he's doing 600,000 and he's got his life back. Okay. Now he's got a taste of this. He's like, I don't want to do 600,000. I go to these Craig Proctor conferences. I meet these guys doing $1 million or $2 million or $5 million in GCI. I want to do that. And he is going to do it, but we need some help. Now, if you're outside of the Calgary area, you should book a call with me. I will show you how to do what Shane has done in your respective marketplace. Okay. It's easy to do that. We'll have a link below. It's proctorcall.com. So my name, proctorcall.com, and you can book a day and a time that works for you. We call it a breakthrough call. And basically it's like the first meeting that Shane had with my guy, James, where we would ask you a bunch of questions about where you are in your business and where you want to go. And then I would ask you the same question I asked Shane here on our interview. Shane says, I want to do $1 million. And I said, Shane, well, why aren't you already doing it? Right? It's crazy, right? Because we know where we are and we know where we want to go. And so the obvious question is why am I not already doing what I want to do? There's usually some kind of obstacle. We will show you the workaround. Okay. We will show you how to get from where you are to where you want to go. So proctorcall.com. Now, Shane, if I'm in the Calgary area, I'm watching you, maybe I'm noticing, it's like, where the hell did this guy come from? Like now you're on, now people see you're on the radar. How should realtors reach you? And even if you're not in Calgary, if you just want to reach out to Shane, just confirm he's a real guy, his story is real. What's the best way for realtors to reach you?
So I'm going to give you 2 ways. You can give me a call directly at 403-669-8248. That comes right to me. That is my personal cell phone number. If you want to call me, feel free to call me. And then we've set up a web page for anybody who's interested in a little bit more information. It's joinyycproperties.com.
Okay, we'll type that in the comments below. Okay, we'll type in Shane's phone number and that website domain. But check it out. Okay. And mine is proctorcall.com. Super easy. Just go there and book an appointment. Look, we would love to share with everybody what the top realtors are doing to be successful. There is absolutely no reason for you to struggle or go down rabbit holes or waste your time doing things that aren't effective. Everything that you want to do to be successful as a realtor is already being done by thousands of Craig Proctor members.
Yeah.
That's what Shane realized is I just got to hang out with these guys, pick their brains. Shane, you probably learned a lot, not only in the seminar during the day, but maybe after, at the end of the day at the bar, right?
So,
at the restaurant, meeting with people that are doing the thing you want to do.
So Craig, I want to tell a quick little story about that. I came to a conference in Toronto, in Markham. And it was my last kick at the can before I started building the team. I jumped on the airplane and I said, if I can't figure it out in these 3 days, I'm shutting the business down. I'm gonna go work for somebody else. And day 1 of the conference was fine. Went to the bar that night, and I happened to mention to one of the agents. I said, I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but I haven't done a deal in months. And it was, those scenes in the movie where everything stops and somebody says something, everybody hears it. That's what it was like. And the amount of people that sat down at a table with me and a white piece of paper, and said, okay, here's the plan. Go home, write these ads, put it on these social media platforms. This is what you need to do. The conference was in mid-October. By the end of December, I was the number one agent in my brokerage of 400 agents.
That's cool.
It showed me exactly how that network will solve any problem you have. You just need to ask.
Yeah. Very good point. And that's why we do these podcasts. Obviously we want to introduce the Craig Proctor system to as many people as we can, but I want you to hear from Craig Proctor members that are doing the things that you want to do. Also, it gives me a really good chance, Shane, to actually spend more time. When I'm doing these, it's just like a good conversation with you and I, so we can hang out and spend some time together. So I do these podcasts every Tuesday. We do them live. This is streamed onto Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and then we chop it up and repurpose it all over social media. So eventually thousands of people will watch this. And so this is one of the things that we teach realtors to do, is how to use social media, how to offer helpful content to buyers and sellers in your marketplace. One of the biggest things that we battle as realtors is obscurity. And this is one of the things that Shane has figured out, is how to overcome obscurity. So people in his marketplace in Calgary, Canada, Calgary, Alberta, they know who he is. They know what makes him different. And 100% of his business now is inbound. No more cold calling, no more chasing, no more wasting money buying leads that aren't very qualified. Shane is his own marketing director. He understands that we're marketers first and realtors second. So Shane, once you figured out the marketing piece of it, you're like, well, there's no end to this. I solved the one problem for you, which is you didn't have enough business. But in fact, I created a new problem, which is now you have too much business. And your new problem is I need to find great agents to partner up with me to handle all the business.
Yeah.
So as your business grows, the problems will change. They just become better problems, right? And so when you get to $1 million, right, you're going to reach that goal. And I know when you get to $1 million, your eyeball will be on $2 million, and you'll still have problems. You'll have just different and better problems.
Yeah.
Now, you and I were talking before we got started about the tracking that you do on your team. And you have some of those tracking examples that we want to share with everybody right now. So Faith, if you can pop up the documents that Shane sent. And by the way, everybody, if you wait till the end of our interview, we will make what we're showing you available. So, if you want to model after these templates, we'll have a download link in the comments below. And so, don't worry about writing anything down. You'll get all this if you ask for it when we're done. So explain what you've got here and how you use it.
All right. So what we did was we put together a accountability tracking sheet. One of the very first things that you taught us in the Craig Proctor system was how to set our goal for the year and how to build a roadmap to get there. We took it one step further for everybody on our team, and we made an accountability sheet for how to know if we're on track. So, a couple of the things that we want to make sure we track is how many appointments are we setting? We can break down that goal of $1 million to how many appointments does the team need to set on a weekly basis.
So this accountability is for each outside sales agent. It's not for the team.
Each individual agent. We have one for our ISA department as well. It's a little bit different than this, but we want to keep everybody on the team, every OSA, every ISA, all accountable for what they're doing to reach their goal for the year. Okay. So this example here would be a solo agent who would be going on 1.5 listing appointments and 1.5 buyer appointments a week. That would be pretty typical to reach 24 to 30 transactions in our market.
Okay, so you take the outside sales agent in your team and you say, what's your goal for this year? And if they say, well, my goal's 25 transactions for the year, Then you break down, that's basically 2 per month. Where are they going to come from? How many are going to come from listings? How many of those transactions are going to come from buyers? And then you said earlier that where it's red means they're underperforming, right? They're supposed to be on a pace of 1.5, but they're only doing 1.
Yeah.
So you're able to look at this every week when you meet with them and say, okay, you're on pace, or you're overperforming, or you're underperforming. Obviously, if they're underperforming, you got to do a little bit of an autopsy and find out what's going on and how do we fix it.
Yeah, we do this not only in our agent one-on-ones, but in our weekly team meeting, we go through these numbers as well. We because we want to help lift everybody up. If one of the agents on our team is having a hard time closing listings, and one agent is excelling, we want to get the two of them to work together and figure out, what can change to make sure everybody's excelling at getting listings under contract these days.
And Faith, let's scroll down to the next chart and explain what this one is.
Okay, so this is so the first part is the trends, right? So we can see if we're improving or God forbid getting worse. This is our overall year, what our year would look like. And what we've done here is we've given an example of what one of these tracking sheets would look like after a month. We can track how many leads are coming in. So the very first thing that we've done is we've established how many leads we need to generate throughout the year to reach our goal. Then we need to break that down into how many appointments do we need to go on. And math be told, not every appointment's ever going to show up. So in tracking this for the last year or 2 years now on our team, we've been able to come up with real numbers of the percentage of appointments that show up. And on one half, we work on improving that number all the time. On the other half, that's the number that we need to keep our team accountable for. Okay. But as every week goes on, we adjust the numbers so we know where we need to move our marketing. If we have a week where we dip in the number of listings we've taken, we know we need to shift our marketing into more seller marketing so we can get back on track for our goals.
Right. So you're able to play catch up, but you're always knowing where you are versus where you need to be to reach that goal. So we call this, like just working it backwards. You're genetically engineering your business by working it backwards with, okay, if my goal is $1 million, how many leads do I need? And how many leads do I need is going to be based on your conversion rate, the number that show up. All of this goes into the equation. So if, like, now that you know your numbers, and as we all know, top agents know their numbers, it's really now just you making sure that you're hitting these numbers and you've got, first of all, the lead flow coming in, and it's just going to happen. As long as you're hitting your numbers every single week and you've got the lead flow, you've got the manpower, $1 million is absolutely going to happen by design, not by chance. It's not like you're, wishing on a star. You know that this is going to happen. And here's the thing. Once you get to $1 million, first of all, you would never be satisfied with $600,000 again. We can pull this down now, Faith. That's the cool thing about paradigms, isn't it, Shane? Like if I'd have said to you the day we first met, if I'd have said, hey, Shane, you're going to make $1 million a year, you probably would have had a hard time believing it, right? But once I get you to $1 million in the next year, you will never be, anything less would be unacceptable. And even $1 million, once you do it, will be unacceptable, because that's the human spirit, right? Like, I know you're a competitive guy. You play hockey, which I love. It is a game worth playing. And, you get up every day now being the entrepreneur instead of, being just the solo real estate agent doing a whole bunch of things that you don't want to do. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to those watching this? I don't know, maybe the question should be, Shane, if you could go back in time, knowing what you know now, if you're doing this all over again, knowing what you know now, what advice would you share with realtors today?
So I'm forever a skeptic. I came to that conference in Anaheim, and I came home from Anaheim and I said, no, I said, this Craig Proctor system's not for me. 4 months later, I finally said, yeah, okay, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to try it. And the number one piece of advice I can give anybody is, I've heard lots of people say, I wish I didn't wait 4 months. I wish I didn't wait 4 months. I've never heard anybody say, I signed up for that too soon. Right.
Mhm.
So don't wait. If you want to run a successful business, if you want to make more money next month than you did last year, make the call. It's that simple.
Yeah, there's no downside to having a conversation with Shane or myself. It's just a phone call. That's it, right? What's the downside? It's free of charge. It's no obligation. If you call Shane, you're in the Calgary market, you call him and you don't like the way the call goes or whatever, you just stay where you are, nothing ventured, nothing gained. But what if this is true? What if it's true that we took Shane, who was a little bit skeptical maybe on this whole thing, we got him up to $90,000 in his first year of having a license. Shane meets Craig Proctor members, realizes, hey, there's a lot more to this business. Now he's doing 600,000, not satisfied with 6,000. The goalposts now are $1 million. Why him, not you? And you don't have to reinvent this. You don't have to spend the years or the investment that Shane's made. All you have to do, if you're in Calgary, give him a phone call. If it sounds good, try it out. What's the worst thing that can happen? You work with Shane for a few months, you don't like it or whatever, you can always go back to what you're doing. But that never happens, right? Just like if, here's what never happens. I wouldn't get a call from Shane saying, Craig, I don't like the $600,000 a year. I think I'm going to go back to being the solo agent making 90,000. Like, that's never going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Give this a chance, folks. Even if you've been involved with other coaching and training, I don't know if you folks are aware, but a lot of the people in my industry, a lot of these coaches and gurus, not all of them, but a lot of them have never actually been successful as real estate agents. It frustrates me because I spent 25 years in the trenches kind of perfecting this. I mean, I'm teaching you the Craig Proctor system because this is what I spent 25 years of my life creating and perfecting. So this is not, something I read in a book. This is not something I heard from somebody else. I've done my time in the trenches perfecting this. Many of you know my story. Within 3 years, I had quick success, just like Shane. I go from literally as dumb as a pile of rocks in my first year selling real estate. Because Shane, I didn't make $90,000 first year. I was pretty much ready to quit, but I had nowhere else to go. I had to figure out, how am I going to make a living at this? So I became a student of marketing and I figured it out. Within 3 years of having my license, I was named the #1 RE/MAX agent in the entire world. And I'm from a small town just north of Toronto. Like, there was no reason, like I'm not selling multi-million-dollar homes in New York City or Los Angeles. I'm in a small town, small marketplace. But one thing I figured out was marketing. And then, of course, I needed to figure out how to grow my team and how to create the systems. This is what you get in the Craig Proctor system. What I find in many of the students that come to us that have been involved with other coaching and training, they'll say, you know what, the other coach we had was motivating and they were a good presenter. And they'd have these overall concepts. But when I ask the coach to drill down and give me the specifics of actually how to do this and how to overcome the challenges while doing the doing, a lot of these coaches, they just don't have the specific answers because they've never actually done the thing that they're teaching you to do. So you don't have to worry about that here. Everything that Shane will share with you, he's successfully doing. He's just getting started with this. 600,000, boom, been there, done that. It'd be $1 million. It'd be $2 million. This guy's going to be around for a long, long time. He's going to be a superstar in his marketplace. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. If you're in Calgary, just pick up the phone, give him a call. You'll learn a lot. Even if you're not from Calgary, if you're from anywhere else in North America, give him a shout and ask him about his journey. He'd be happy to talk to you. And I'd be happy to talk to you as well. And remember, just go to proctorcall.com. We'll have a conversation. That's what happened with Shane and I. It all started one day because we had a conversation. So Shane, I want to thank you so much for doing this today. Really appreciate your time. Thank you for being a Craig Proctor coach. Let's get you to 1 million. Let's get you in that $1 million GCI club. And then there's no looking back. I know you're going to have a great year, and I'll get you back here again. So I'm going to write this down on my calendar to get you back when you're at 1 million, so we can do the before and after interview. So thanks again for doing this. Thanks everybody for watching our interview. Let us know in the comments if you found this extremely helpful. Let us know, and join us again. Every week I'm interviewing a Craig Proctor superstar. This is real estate coach Craig Proctor. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.
Thanks, Craig.